The following is an instructional video on how to divide polynomials. In this example, we're going to divide a polynomial of third degree by a first degree polynomial using the long division method. So we begin by setting it up as if we were to divide numbers, just the way we would have divided numbers. And to find the first term, we want to see how we look at the first term of the first degree polynomial. So we want to see how x goes into x cubed how many times. It goes into x cubed x squared times x squared times. So I'm going to write x squared right here because x squared times x will give me the x cubed. So now I want to take this x squared times x, which is x cubed, and copy it underneath the x cubed column. Whoops, should be just positive. And then x squared times -2 is -2x squared, so that goes under the x squared column. So -2 2x squared. Whoops. And then we draw a line, and what we want to do is subtract the first two terms. So x cubed minus x cubed actually cancels. And then I have -4x squared minus -2x squared, which becomes -2x squared. -2x squared. Next, I want to bring down the next term. So this positive 7x. If I bring this down, I'm going to just write it next to the x squared term. So this is just plus 7x. And then I want to repeat the process. So x goes into -2x squared how many times? It goes in -2x times. So sure enough, -2x times x becomes -2x squared. And then -2x times -2 becomes positive 4x, so just plus 4x. And just like before, we want to subtract these two terms. So I have -2x squared minus -2x squared cancels out, and that's the idea. We want each of these to cancel out one at a time. 7x minus 4x is just 3x. And then I repeat the process one last time. I'm going to bring down the -1 minus 1, and then x goes into 3x 3 times, so plus 3. And sure enough, 3 times x is 3x. And 3 times negative 2 is negative 6x. I'm sorry, just negative 6. And just like I did before, I want to subtract the two terms. And sure enough, the first term will cancel out because 3x minus 3x just cancels out. And negative 6 minus, or I'm sorry, negative 1 minus negative 6 becomes just positive 5, which is the remainder. So we can actually write this division, this polynomial divided by this polynomial, as x squared minus 2x plus 3 plus a remainder of 5 over x minus 2. X minus 2.